We're not even halfway through the year, and WWE have already managed to shoot themselves in the foot more than once. Here are 15 huge mistakes the WWE has already made in 2018. Number 1. Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler's WWE career has always had fans wondering how the WWE can't see the amazing talent they have in front of them. Ziggler is one of the company's best workers, but is repeatedly booked poorly. Even after returning at the Royal Rumble this year, fans expected him to come back with some fire, with even a number of fans predicting he would even win it. Hopes were high as Dolph entered the match at the much desired number 30 spot, only to be dumped out within a few minutes. Nonetheless, the WWE wants him around and recently offered him a lucrative contract with a rumoured clause that allows him to leave the arena after his matches, as opposed to having to stay like everyone else. Perhaps his tag team with Drew McIntyre may be the start of a much deserved push, but both the fans and Ziggler have been let down too many times, so nobody's holding their breath. Number 2. Roman Reigns main events WrestleMania 4 times in a row. Roman Reigns' 4th WrestleMania main event wasn't a WrestleMania moment as much as it was a WTF moment. The WWE Universe is clearly against Reigns, yet the promotion continued to insert him into the showcase of the Immortals' top spot. It's been said the proof of the pudding is in the taste. If so, it's clear the WWE Universe were eager to wash the bad taste out of their mouth at WrestleMania 34 when they walked out in droves on the Reigns match. Number 3. Keeping the belt on Brock Lesnar. The wrestling world was shocked when Brock Lesnar went over Roman Reigns at Mania because the talk of the wrestling world was that Reigns would be the man to defeat Lesnar for the Universal Championship. Instead, Lesnar prevailed, making Roman look like a guy who just couldn't win the big ones. If the WWE had any intentions of putting the belt on Reigns, they should have done so at the Greatest Royal Rumble. Instead, they featured a botched ending, with Reigns' feet touching the floor first. Rumour has it the WWE is keeping Lesnar as champion so he can break CM Punk's contemporary record for longest reign as world champion, which just shows you how petty Vince McMahon, Triple H and Stephanie McMahon can be. Number 4. Ignoring Braun Strowman. The WWE's use of Braun Strowman, or non-use, is nearly unprecedented. It seems like everyone but Vince McMahon knows that Braun Strowman should have wrestled Brock Lesnar and won the Universal Championship at WrestleMania 34. Instead, the monster of men tagged with a tweener in a comedy match on the grandest stage of them all. The WWE's use of Strowman has been criminally negligent, and while Strowman is likely signed for some time, the promotion is leaving a pile of cash on the table by keeping him off the top of the mountain. Number 5. Trying to justify the absence of women at the Greatest Royal Rumble. The WWE's Greatest Royal Rumble was a spectacular event, with Saudi Arabia rumoured to have paid anywhere between $100 million to $200 million for the WWE just to show up. However, Saudi Arabia's policy towards women meant that no female superstars could perform, as women are treated as second-class citizens. Triple H tried to explain it by saying this is just the beginning, and the WWE is trying to persuade Saudi Arabia to change its policies for future shows. In a recent story on the Greatest Royal Rumble, Saudi Arabia's policy towards women was brought up. Male guardianship remains firmly entrenched, keeping women at the mercy of their spouses or male relatives who have the final say on whether they are allowed to travel, study abroad, or access healthcare. The ability to attend football matches in a handful of stadiums does not change the fact that the Saudi government monitors women using electronic systems that track cross-border movements and has forcibly returned women who have fled their relatives. WWE Hall of Famer Lita had this to say about the situation. Make the money, that's fine, but don't try to cover it up. Don't say, no, we are not doing this because in the future we would like to help progress their culture forward. No, you want the money. You're a business, and businesses make money. That's okay. Given the financial success of the event and the WWE's long-term contract to hold events in Saudi Arabia, it will be interesting to see how the WWE's financial interests vie with its self-proclaimed women's revolution.
Forget about the looks. What about the money?
Oh, the money!
What about the money?
Number 6. Jobbing out the Revival. The Revival was arguably the best NXT tag team to arrive in the WWE, so naturally the WWE took them from being a dominant force to becoming enhancement talent. Although the revival was sidelined for several months due to Scott Dawson's bicep injury, the WWE's treatment of them is so reminiscent of the Ascension that we can't help but wonder how long before they start wearing face paint and trash talking the Road Warriors and Demolition. Number 7. Switching to co-branded pay-per-views. When the WWE announced they were bringing back the brand split, fans wondered whether the company had figured out a way to successfully promote two groups of talent. Apparently, they haven't, as the WWE wasted little time in changing its Raw and SmackDown Live brand exclusive events into co-branded pay-per-views. This really is unfortunate, as the beauty of the brand split is giving performers on the undercard a chance to shine. We don't want you to think Wrestlelamia sees past through rose-colored glasses, but part of the appeal of the Attitude Era was its ability to give undercard wrestlers their moments in the limelight, helping to make more matches into must-see TV. That's not going to happen when you have the undercard talent of Raw and SmackDown Live fighting for a pay-per-view spot. Some have suggested the WWE could have cut their pay-per-view events back rather than co-branding them. Whatever their reasoning, it's doing no favours for their undercard or the undercard's chance to rise up the ranks. Number 8. Letting talent slip away. It's arguable that WWE has never had so much talent in the company, and while they're still looking for the next John Cena, The Rock, or Stone Cold Steve Austin, they have plenty of men and women who can main event at a lesser level. Sadly, the company has had a habit of wasting talent, or booking someone else in place of someone better, as seen with stars like Neville. Number 9. Naming the Women's Battle Royal after Moolah. Fans who claim the WWE is in touch with times need look no further than it naming its first ever WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal after the fabulous Moolah, a woman accused by her peers of exploiting and abusing women wrestlers. Check out our Behind the Titantron episode on that. Nonetheless, the WWE didn't change the name until WrestleMania 34's sponsor Snickers demanded they change it. With the Me Too movement stronger than ever, this one should have been a no-brainer. Number 10. Wasting their tag team division. The WWE has a fantastic selection of tag teams to put into programs, and yet they can't seem to come up with any engaging storylines. As anyone who grew up in the 80s or 90s can tell you, there's no limit as to the excitement you can create with tag teams. Whether it's the glory days of the British Bulldogs versus the Hart Foundation, or the epic TLC matches involving the Hardy Boys, Edge and Christian and the Dudley Boys, tag team wrestling can match any singles match for keeping the fans on the edge of their seats. As often happens in the WWE, this is lost on creative, as they continue recycling the same matches. While the New Day vs the Usos Part 1000 might sound compelling to the WWE's creative team, there are so many other teams that could be inserted into the mix, providing variety for the fans, helping to get new tag teams over, and rejuvenating single stars, as the WWE did with Sheamus and Cesaro in the Bar. Number 11. Continuously ignoring Rusev Day. If you caught our recent video, you know there may be hope for Rusev, and the fans who want every day to be Rusev Day. While we can only hope Rusev's Money in the Bank qualifier win over Daniel Bryan is a step in the right direction, we're not completely sure. After all, the WWE's treatment of the Bulgarian Brute in the past almost matched Dolph Ziggler's inconsistent pushes, and we won't believe Rusev's luck has changed until he gets a solid push. Number 12. Giving away Daniel Bryan dream matches. Daniel Bryan's return to the ring had fans jumping for joy, not seen since John Cena started taking months off at a time to make movies. The number of potential dream matches for Daniel Bryan could help make pay-per-views must-see events, and yet the WWE has chosen to ignore this moneymaker. Recently, Bryan wrestled AJ Styles in a TV match, when any booker worth their salt would have made it a pay-per-view event rather than a way to build up AJ vs Shinsuke Nakamura. Speaking of Shinsuke, the WWE put him in a dark match against Daniel Bryan, a move that borders on sacrilege for anyone who knows what these two can do in the ring together. Whether the WWE was allowing them to work out the kinks for a future match or not, it's a bad sign of how the WWE seems to be viewing Daniel Bryan's value as a performer. Number 13. Its booking of AJ Styles vs Shinsuke Nakamura. This is the type of program that should have been an automatic feud of the year, and yet somehow, the WWE found a way to turn it into a glorified mid-card feud on SmackDown Live. Between the repeated low blows, or the terrible finishes, these two haven't had a chance to light up the ring like everyone knows they can. Number 14. Keeping Finn Balor on Raw. Whatever momentum Finn Balor had on Raw evaporated following his Universal Championship win and simultaneous injury. While there's room for more than 2 top guys, Balor's reputation has been burnt on Raw, and it's arguable the only chance the WWE has of rehabilitating him is to send him to SmackDown Live and let the fans see what he can do with a push. And number 15, not having a Bayley vs Sasha Banks feud. Sasha Banks and Bayley's 2015 NXT feud is still talked about as one of the promotion's best feuds, not only for women, but for any competitor. Bayley's WWE run has been nothing short of a dud, and Sasha Banks has got lost in the shuffle as names like Charlotte, Asuka, Alexa Bliss, and now Ronda Rousey are embroiled in championship matches. A Banks vs Bayley feud would give both superstars a chance to showcase their talents and stay in the spotlight, despite keeping them out of the women's championship picture. Unfortunately, with both women working as faces, the feud seems to be lacking something. Reportedly, Bayley was supposed to team up with Elias for a mixed tag team match against John Cena and Nikki Bella at a Madison Square Garden house show, but Bayley wrestled as a face. A Bayley heel turn seems to be the best chance to help her get over, and while there have been rumours of a possible trip to the dark side, there's been nothing concrete. Alternatively, some fans feel the Boss should revert to her heel character, providing a complete recreation of the Boss vs Bayley program on NXT. Well guys, there you have it, 15 huge mistakes the WWE has already made in 2018. Be sure to comment down below, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.